Today I'm going to show you how you can add a creative element to the new end screen feature on YouTube. Stand by. Hey, it's James from Rattlecan Guitar Restorations, and what I want to show you today is how I create the last 20 seconds of my video so that I can easily overlay my end screen elements. YouTube is rolling this out, and I'm going to show you what I do, which is just the way I do it. There are many ways to skin a cat, folks. So the first thing that I have to do is I have to come up with something that I feel is pleasing to look at. So the first thing that I've done is I have found this element here. If you will search royalty-free video footage, there's no end of companies that are willing to share their hard-earned video footage with you. This is the particular piece that I have picked out. I need to put my brand element into that somewhere, and this is the place that I have selected to put it. It's just to the right of center, as you can see. And the question I'm sure many of you are asking is, how did you determine that that is the spot to put it? So what I've done is I just made this quick little template, and if I reduce the opacity of my stars file, this red line, this is where in general the bounding box is going to be on the end screen feature. This is the general size of the small and the large video link that you get. These purple boxes are the size of your subscribe buttons or your channel link buttons. And I've just roughed that out so I can place my elements, and then I can check them to see if they're going to interfere. And that looks like it's going to be okay. So now I can go back, and when I hit the play, I get my video element in the background, and I get my graphical logo in the foreground. Now I need to talk to people, so I recorded my voiceover here in my little tiny, very, very redneck studio.
Hey, if you like this episode of Rattlecan Guitar Restorations,
and there are three things that I want to do. I want to tie in a link to a video. I want to tie in a call to action to have you subscribe, and I also have a call to action. I want you to go and visit the Patreon page. So I'll include those in the voiceover.
You might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you'd like to help the channel grow, consider stepping over to our Patreon page and giving that a look.
So there's all three of those elements included in that voiceover, and I'm a nice guy, so I'm going to tell you have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. Cheers.
Now, I am a music guy, so I hunted and hunted and hunted on the YouTubes and found some backing music that I feel is appropriate.
Hey, if you like this episode of Rattlecan Guitar Restorations, you might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you'd like to help the channel grow, consider stepping over to our Patreon page and giving that a look. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.
Alright, that is how I want the last 20 seconds of my video to end. When you utilize the end screen feature, it is going to take the last 20 seconds of your video, but it is also going to put your mark at least 20 seconds from the beginning. So if you have a super short clip, you're going to have issues. So what I've done, just for demonstration purposes, I have put a buffer video, like 35 seconds or so. But I did that just to serve as a spacer. So now,
hey, if you like this episode,
here we go.
Of Rattlecan Guitar Restoration.
So I'm now going to export that. We're going to send that up to YouTube. So now we're going to send this up to YouTube. If you're watching this, you pretty much got YouTube uploading figured out, so we're not going to cover that. Here is the new end screen and annotations button. We're going to click on that, and that is automatically going to set us up. I have a 55-second clip. It's going to back count 20 seconds, and it's going to start us right at 35. You can see here we're marked right at 35, and if we press play, we're off to the races, kids. So if you don't know, real quick, this blue line is your bounding box. This is what you have to work with. That is not your whole screen. This is your whole screen. If you're shooting 16:9 aspect ratio, this is your entire screen. This is the part you get to use with YouTube. Notice that if this bar pops up, it's not going to interfere with what you can do up here. So this is what you have to work with. We're going to add 4 elements into this. Actually, we're going to just add 3 elements into it. You can add up to 4. One of those has to be a video. So we're going to select a video. This one's pretty good. How to make a crappy DIY video. It's going to default add it to the upper left-hand corner. I don't want that there. We're going to put that down about there. It defaults to the small size. You can also stretch it up to the large size. We're going to default it to there. Now let's add our subscribe button, and it's going to again automatically default that to the upper left-hand corner. Let's also add a link to an approved website. Let's go to our Patreon website. My description is too long. We are on Patreon, and let's put an exclamation point because we're excited about that. Learn more. You will see that pop up here in a minute. You can add a small graphic into that. Hit create element, and the magic pixies are going to do stuff, and then here you are. Now notice this red, because it has defaulted to the upper left-hand corner. If you see red, that means that you're interfering between elements, and it's going to tell you up here, please add space between the elements. So if you just space them out as such, and then I can put that there. Okay. Notice on my timeline down here, I'm at 36 seconds, and that's not necessarily where I want them to be. I can adjust the timing on these. So we'll hit the play.
Hey, if you like this episode of Rattlecan Guitar Restorations, you might...
So that is where I want that element to pop up. Let's continue.
You might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe.
Let's move this to here. Continue on.
Subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you'd like to help the channel grow...
And we're going to continue on with that one to there. Pressing the play button.
Consider stepping over to our Patreon page and giving that a look. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.
And I happen to know from fiddling around with this that at 54.6 seconds I'm pretty close to everything dropping off at the same time. I don't like that you can't type in a numerical value, at least that as far as I've been able to find out. Hit the play button. We're close. Now let's go back to here, because actually I'm not happy with where this is at, but it's really easy to change it. So let's say I want to move my Patreon button down to here, and I want to move my subscribe button to here. Now I can take my video link and I can make it as big as it will allow me, and now I have a much bigger presence. Hit the play.
You might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you'd like to help the channel grow, consider stepping over to our Patreon page and giving that a look.
The advantage of being able to resize this is in-screen annotations work on mobile devices. And if you're on a teeny tiny screen trying to hit a teeny tiny target, it could be problematic. So I want to make these as big as I can. Let's save this, and then we'll look at 2 things that will pop up here. Let's go here to 34 seconds. I'll just mute this. Now my video is going to come up. There's my video come up. I'm linking to my video. Now if I mouse over here, or I get this pop-up box which is going to give me my channel link, it's going to get the subscribe button, and it's also going to bring in your description of your channel. Then if you mouse down to your link, it's going to, this is what we typed in, this is the URL it's going to, and then this is what we selected. We selected learn more. There are some other options down there, so you can kind of customize that to the way that you want it to go. So that is how I do my last 20 seconds of video. It is front loaded, which means you have to do the work up front, but once you get that work done, you can actually export this as a MP4, and then you can just slide it in. Hey, if you found this useful, give us a thumbs up. If you've got a comment, be sure to put it down below the sermon notes, and if you're not a subscriber, consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm James from Rattlecan Guitar Restorations. This has been an episode of the Content Creator Series. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.
Hey, if you like this episode of Rattlecan Guitar Restorations, you might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you'd like to help the channel grow, consider stepping over to our Patreon page and giving that a look. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.